Hello everyone, I'm here with a new process video, and as you can see I've got multiple things happening here. This is another layout for my Europe album. This is Notre du Sablon in Brussels. I hope I said that correctly. And look at its gorgeousness. So I have to scrap all of this. What I have happening here is I have a 6x12 on the left side, then I have this insert here where I've got a 4x6 pocket, and then I also have this smaller pocket on the bottom, which I'm sure you can guess is going to be sequins. So that's awesome. And then in the back I have a close-up view of that same window. And then the beauty is that the sequins I use will match for both sides automatically because they're the same photo essentially. This one's just the far away view so that you can see that fantastic ceiling, and then this one's just the close-up focusing on the glass. So by the way, this is not what I'm using. That just happens to be from the other side. That's the back of it. That does not go at all with what I have happening here. So I do have to fill this with something. I don't know what, but something. And then also this pocket. And I think what I want is maybe one card that has some journaling space and another card that doesn't, that maybe just has a phrase on it or something that would match the colors. And in looking at this, I'm thinking blue for a lot of this because I have both kind of an aqua and a royal blue happening, and I haven't used a lot of that color around these layouts, so I think it would be a nice change. When I went into the last of the pocket cards that I have left for this album, I pulled those out of my bin. This one was in there, and I had kind of forgotten about it. I think I might want to use it here. It does have some other colors sprinkled in, and this is very colorful, so I think that's fine. There is a lighter blue kind of up here. It's almost like a greenish blue though, which isn't necessarily what I was thinking, but when you hold it up against here, it doesn't look bad. So actually, like right there, it looks pretty good. It's a little bit more of an aqua there, but I think I can get away with it. So that may go here, and then I only have to find one other card, and then I still have tons and tons of options of the colors I can use for my sequins. I should also mention my fuse tool has been heating up. It's more than ready to go at this point. I wanted to make sure that I had it ready and available. So that's all good. So I think I just need another card, and then I can really figure out what sequins am I going to use. All right, I pulled out my 3x4, just some more general travel cards. In the colors here, I separate them by color of the rainbow. In the colors where I knew the blue fell. And of all the ones I saw, this is actually the one I like the best. And I know that because it says this view, check this out, it's probably meant for something outdoorsy, but I don't care. I'm going to use it here because I love the way this blue plays off those windows. So that's my choice. And it gives me plenty of room to journal there, which is amazing. And I think it looks okay with this. There's just a little bit up there to kind of tie it together, but otherwise I actually like the contrast of the bright white and then just little splotches of color. So that's all good. Now comes the fun part. I get to pick out my sequins to figure out what's all going to go. Obviously I want a white or a clear because that will help lighten it up. I want some blue, but beyond that, I don't know. I could do gold, I am sure. I could do a little red. I mean, there are lots of options there. So I think I'm just going to start pulling stuff out and see what I like. Right off the bat, when I pulled out some sequins, I have two things that I think I want to use. And the first one is a mix here, and I just want to show it to you. It's got a little black in there. It's got a little periwinkle, but then it's got that lighter blue. I think it could work there. It would have to be a small amount though, because too much of that would really overpower things. But then I also have these, and I kind of forgot about them. So it was a pleasant surprise to go in there and find them. I mean, look how nicely that would go to have some of those mixed in. And I love that they're actually little like sunburst. Hopefully the camera will show that well. They're very sparkly, and they have a little sunburst texture, which is fun just to add, you know, add a little something extra. Here's another option I'm considering. Hopefully you can see that well. It's got both gold and white in it, and I like the little cylindrical pieces in there as well. Again, adds just an interesting texture. However, as I'm looking at these, I feel like I'm gonna have to actually eliminate this one. There's just a lot going on in there, and I feel like maybe it's too much when compared to some of these, because I'm not done, obviously. I have to add some other colors too. So I think I'm actually gonna put this one back and not use it. Well, I definitely do want a pop of red in there. And when I'm looking at these, they're pretty much the same color. However, these are the disc patterns where it almost looks like a record with the grooves. I'm not sure that I want that. They're also a little bit bigger than these, which are more of a traditional sequin. Little less exciting maybe, but that means that they're a little more subtle, which is actually okay given the color mix I'm trying to do. And they're slightly smaller, I think. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with those. So now that's what I have, and I'm going to try to just mix those first and see what it gives me. Oops. And then I may mix in some clear ones just for good measure. There is my mix so far, and I actually dumped a little bit more red in there than I intended, so I have to balance that out. And I've already used these blue ones that I showed you, but now I think I might also use these because this is more of that aqua color, and I think it might be kind of fun to have the different shades of blue and aqua in there. So let's just mix this up real quick and I'll see what I think of it. I do like it, but I think it actually needs more of that gold and white one. So I'll add some of that and then I'll be back. Okay, check that out. I think that is a much better mix, and it feels like a lot, but I know that because this is actually a bigger page protector, this is a bigger size pocket than I would normally use for sequins, because this is a 4x8 insert. 4 inches wide is not what I normally do. I normally do 3. So I've got a lot more real estate to fill here. So I think that amount will probably do well there. All right, I have the sequins all in the pocket now, and hopefully you can tell that I actually decided to add some of these darker sequins here because I felt like there wasn't enough of that more royal blue. Now that's pretty dark, but when you put this up against it, it doesn't look bad. I think it actually brings out those darker blue tones. So I'm going with that. I do have my tool ready. I've got this here. Just going to shake that down a little bit more. I need to get it away from the top of the pocket. There we go. Just to make sure that I get the best seal that I can. Ta-da! It's done and I love it. It's full but not too full, like there's enough room for it to really shake around in there when the pages are being turned, which is what I want. I tend to have the problem of overfilling sometimes just because I love the way they look, but then it gets a little too bulky and I feel like it doesn't have as much movement, and I like the movement. What do you like to do when you use sequins? Do you like it to be super stuffed, or do you like it a little thinner so that it plays with the light better, it can move around? Let me know. Looking at all of this next to each other, I definitely think I need to bring in some red to this side because you can see it a little bit in the glass here and in other places, but red is a very strong color. So I think I do need to have it maybe like, actually maybe this upper corner because there's not much happening there. I don't want to really lose any of that little bit of window. It's a nice pop of color in that corner, but maybe up here I can do something. All right, couple of things. I have decided to switch these around. I want the blue, I want these next to each other, I think, to kind of play up that blue factor. And then I moved this over here. Also because I think I'm going to just use this red label and stamp something on it here. And I like the fact that those white areas will be opposite each other in the different corners. So I think that's that's what I'm going to go with. Now I just have to figure out then what the heck am I going to stamp on here. I think I know what I'm going to stamp here, and it's definitely different than what I thought. I was thinking I would do something maybe a little shorter, clip off the edge. I do that a lot. I like the look of it, but that's not really going to work here because the phrase I found is too long. It's barely going to fit in here. This is the stamp set that I'm going to use. This is from Everyday Explorers. It actually came as part of a mini book. It's the book that I made for Chicago that I showed not long ago. And I think the kit was actually called Places, come to think of it. But I didn't use a whole lot of these for that album, it turned out, but I definitely will for other projects like this. So when I hold this up there, it barely fits in there, but I kind of like the idea that it'll go end to end, and then I can just put it right here in that empty space and it'll fit just fine. All right, I have the stamping done and I'm happy about that. But when I put it down, then I didn't like the configuration of what I had because I don't like these under each other. I feel like that's too much text. So I switched those around. So these are still diagonal, but now it's moved further away again. I'm not as pleased about this configuration as I was with what I had, but because I need this in the upper right, it'll be fine. I'll just go with it. And really, I'm probably making way more of it than anybody else would. For the photo that's going to go on the back of here, I really hadn't done anything with it, but I pulled out my red phrases and I found this one. And it fits perfectly across the top, and it's kind of some dead space there anyway, so I'm going to add that. I was pretty sure I wanted a blue phrase up here, so I pulled out all of those, and I have found this one, and I love what it says. I love the color. It's pretty close to that. I definitely think it'll bring out those blues there, especially with that bright red up top. So I'm going to go with that one. All right, there we go. Everything is put together in the pockets. So top row, middle row, bottom. I love the way that looks. And then the right side here, I freaking love all these sequins. And then the back side with a nice pop of red. So here's another one done for Brussels. Thanks for watching.